Hi everyone, welcome to Module 7. We are going to move into cognitive development this week and next week, and I just wanted to come in. I haven't talked to you in a little while. Thank you for your patience as I was recovering from my oral surgery and traveling to Texas for a work-related meeting. So today in this video lecturette, I'm going to talk about two upcoming assignments that are due and give you a little bit of information that will hopefully help you as you are starting to work on these. So at the end of this module, on October 15th, next Tuesday night, your research paper outline is due. And so I'm just going to briefly go over that. So here are the guidelines for this research paper outline and the rubric. And I hope I've enlarged it enough for you to be able to see. So I'm not going to read this word for word. I would expect that you would read this very carefully to be sure that you're covering everything. So in week 7, you're going to write the tentative title or the approved title that you have submitted on Canvas, and you are going to compose a 1 to 2 page double-spaced outline. I'm going to show you an example in just a couple of minutes. You want to be sure that you are following the outline that is provided in the guidelines. You're going to want to use each of these headings and subheadings during this step of the research paper process. And then if you will look quickly, I'm just trying to click away from that, you will see that the research paper outline is worth 10 points, 2 points for turning it in on time, 2 points for following the outline format, 2 points or 1 point or 0 points for addressing clearly the content for each outline area, 2 points for your spelling, grammar, and academic writing, and then 2 points for your references and APA formatting in your paper. So I'll quickly show you. Here is an example. You will want to go ahead and start with a title page. You are going to want to add an APA formatted running head. Using this format, you could even download and use this as a template if you would like. As you can see, this submission follows the outline format with the headings and then gives brief information at this point on your topic as related to each of the outline areas. You want to go ahead and start including some references, although I don't expect your reference list to be complete or that you have read all of these articles and resources that you are looking up, but I do expect to see that you are starting that process and looking carefully and reading some of the resources that you have located carefully. So you will continue to fill this out in outline form. Remember, it's 1 to 2 pages, this example, and that's for the outline part, not the title page and the references list. And so you will see this one comes in it under just under 2 pages, and then you will need to go ahead and start your comprehensive references list, being sure to look at APA formatting. As you can see, there weren't this many in-text citations, which is fine. So this can just be your preliminary search and listing them. On the next step, when you submit a draft, your actual reference list should mirror the in-text citations that you've put. But at this point, for the outline only, you can just list any of the resources that you have been using so far, and I don't require that there be a match yet. However, the one exception to that is that if you do use an in-text citation, as Hooper and Umansky is listed here, you do need to be sure that that is included in your references list, as you see it here. But at this point in your paper, I don't expect that all of the references that you list in the comprehensive reference list be shown in in-text citations. So again, this entire paper at this point is 5 pages long. 2 pages are the references list, 1 page is the title page, and then the other 2 pages are for the outline. And so that's where this assignment stands. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the other assignment that I'm going to talk about. At the end of week 9, and I know that that's 3 full weeks away, but your first cognitive development observation is due. And I'm talking about it this early because this is an assignment that needs some planning on your part. And so I want to talk about this a little bit. So let me get rid of the outline for the research paper. Again, I am not going to read the cognitive development observation guidelines. They're pretty lengthy, but I want to go over a couple of things that have been confusing in the past. So for this particular assignment, it's submitted in 2 sort of duplicate times. One is called Cognitive Development Observation 1. The other one is called Cognitive Development Observation 2. So for this assignment, you are going to observe and assess 2 children. There are 3 age groups, as you will see here, 9 to 24 months, 3 to 5 years, and 6 to 8 years of age. You need to pick 1 child from 2 of those groups so that in the end you will observe 2 children in 2 of the different age groups. So you might observe 1 child that's 18 months old, so that fits this first age group, and 1 child that's 6 years old, which would be that age group. One of the children would be the video and report for cognitive development observation number 1, and the other child would be cognitive development observation number 2. So the purpose of this assignment here is to demonstrate your understanding of cognitive development. This is not about any of the other domains, strictly cognitive development. So you're not going to be planning activities or assessing a child's motor development or adaptive skills, strictly cognitive development. It is not necessary that the child or children that you identify have a disability. They can be typically developing. For each observation, you are going to write a narrative report and submit a video recording for each observation. Let's see. There is also a consent form that must be signed. So the first thing that you need to do, and you need to be working on this now, and this is why I'm talking about that, is that you need to identify children to work with, to observe, and so you need to talk to parents. It is your responsibility of finding children, and I think it lists it up here, to find children to work with. Here are some suggested ideas. You can observe and assess children of friends, co-workers, neighbors, relative church members, or even children in your classroom if you're working in the classroom. The one thing that you cannot do is this assignment on your own children or children that you are related to. So please don't wait until the last minute. We'll take some organization and some scheduling, and then also try not to wait until just a couple of days before the assignment in case the families have to reschedule for any reason. So, step 1, identify the children that you're going to work with, set up a schedule, send a friendly reminder that you will be working with these children. If the children happen to be siblings, and that is okay, you will need to observe and assess each child separately. Okay? Then you are going to identify activities that you are going to complete with these children. This will be after you have read Chapter 7 in the textbook and the other sources, which should help give you some ideas of the types of activities to complete with these children so that you can make a valid determination if this child is developing typically or atypically in their cognitive domain. So some examples. For a child under a year old, you might want to test for object permanence. For a child over a year old, you might want to look at tertiary circular reactions. These are all explained within the course textbook. And for an older child, you might be assessing for pre-operational and concrete operational assessments for conservation or logical operations, and those would be appropriate. So that's one of the main things that I'm looking for, is that you have thoroughly read and reviewed all of the materials, readings, and resources in the course, so that you are selecting appropriate activities based on the age of the child. That's a very important component of the grading of this activity. So if you chose an activity for object permanence with a 4-year-old, that wouldn't really be appropriate. Or if with a 2- or 3-year-old you were doing conservation activities to assess their cognitive development, that would not be appropriate. So that's a major part of this assignment that I'm looking for. Step 3, you're going to actually follow through with the observation. You're going to video and audio record your observation. And so spend some time looking over step 3. And then you're going to write the report. There should be 3 main areas: basic information, instruction and responses, and the summary and conclusion. I would like for you to use these headings in your paper, and then there's a description in the guidelines that tell you what information each section should include. Then you will decide how you're going to record by using your phone. That's okay. And then you will submit for each component, cognitive development observation 1, and then cognitive development observation number 2, you will submit 3 things, and there is a link for each part of the assignment. You will submit your narrative report under one assignment link. You will submit your video that you have loaded onto YouTube as a second component of the assignment, and the third component of the assignment is the parent consent form. So the first cognitive development observation is due at the end of module number 9 on October 29th. The second cognitive development observation is due at the end of module 13 in November on November 26th. The rubric is broken down by each of the sections that are listed of the narrative report, and the narrative report is worth 30 points. Each video is worth 10 points. So I hope that this gives you some clarification on the cognitive development observation. If you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to reach out to me via email, and I will try to answer any questions that you have. I hope you all have a great week, and we will be talking again very soon.